Have you ever looked at a Capricorn man and thought, wow, he seems so serious, so focused, so hard to read? Most people see him as the disciplined leader of the Zodiac, someone who's always working, always planning, always climbing towards success. And while that's true, what if I told you that there's another side to him? A side so soft, so devoted, and so surprisingly romantic that very few people ever get to witness it? Today, we're diving deep into the secret side of a Capricorn man, in love that no one talks about. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this man, beneath his cool and collected exterior, can be one of the most passionate and dependable lovers of the Zodiac. Before we dive deep, if you find this video informative, make sure to subscribe my Futures Copy channel and hit the like button so you never miss more astrology content that helps you decode the secrets of the stars. Now, let's begin. Capricorn men don't exactly strike you as the hearts and flowers type. They're not the ones writing love poems at midnight or planning spontaneous getaways just for the thrill of it. Unlike Leo, who sweeps you off your feet with grand gestures, or Libra, who charms you instantly with smooth words and effortless flirtation, the Capricorn man operates on a completely different frequency. His energy is quiet, reserved, and often misunderstood. Many people assume that because he's not overly expressive or dramatic, he must be cold, detached, or even uninterested. But that couldn't be further from the truth. You see, Capricorn men take their time because for them, love isn't a game. It's not something to be rushed into or taken lightly. He approaches relationships the same way he approaches his goals, with careful planning, patience, and commitment. He studies you not in a calculating way, but in a way that shows he wants to truly understand who you are. He notices how you handle stress, how you treat others, what makes you smile, and what breaks your heart. Every little detail matters to him because he's silently deciding if you're someone worth opening up to, someone he can trust with his most guarded emotions. This is why, at the beginning, he might seem hard to read. He won't flood you with compliments or constant affection, but don't mistake that for a lack of feelings. What's really happening is that he's protecting himself. Capricorn men value stability so deeply that they refuse to waste their energy on connections that feel shallow or fleeting. He's cautious, yes, but only because he takes love so seriously. And once he decides to invest in you, it's not a half-hearted effort. It's all or nothing. And here's where the real mystery lies. Behind that stoic face and carefully guarded exterior is a man with an ocean of emotions, far deeper and more tender than most people realize. When he finally feels safe enough to trust, when he believes that you're not going to take his vulnerability for granted, that's when you see the side of him that very few ever witness. Suddenly, this disciplined, hard-working, practical man reveals a softness that is almost shocking. He becomes protective in the sweetest way, affectionate in the most subtle yet powerful gestures, and loyal in a way that makes you feel like you're the most important person in his world. If you are lucky enough to be the person he lets in, the experience is unlike any other. His love isn't loud or flashy. It's steady, grounding, and unshakable. It's the kind of love that makes you feel safe, like no matter what storms come your way, he'll be there to hold you together. It's not about flowers and candlelight dinners every week. It's about consistency, dependability, and a depth of devotion that many dream about but rarely find. A Capricorn man's love may not sparkle in the spotlight, but it burns quietly like an eternal flame, something you can always count on, something that doesn't fade with time. Let's start with one of the biggest secrets that truly define a Capricorn man, his protective nature. This is not a surface-level trait, nor is it something he does for appearances. For a Capricorn man, when he loves with a depth of responsibility that feels almost old-fashioned in the best possible way. Love is not casual for him. It's not a fling, not a temporary arrangement, not something he drifts in and out of. When he chooses you, he chooses with intention. He feels it in his bones that it's his duty, his privilege, and his honor to protect the person he loves. And that protective instinct goes far beyond simply being there. It becomes woven into the way he treats you every single day. He wants to provide for you, not just financially, though that is often a natural part of his drive, but emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. He wants to be your safe place, the person you can collapse into after a long, hard day, knowing that you'll be met with understanding and calm rather than judgment. His way of loving is about building a secure foundation where you never feel like you're standing on shaky ground. And while he may not be the type to constantly shower you with flowery I love yous 50 times a day, his love speaks in a language that's far more powerful. Action. You'll see it in the little things. He'll ask if you've eaten when you're too busy or stressed to remember. He'll insist on driving you home or making sure you text him when you've reached safely. Not because he's controlling, but because he worries. He'll notice if you're quiet, and though he may not push you to talk, he'll find subtle ways to ease your mind, whether it's by lightening your load, offering practical solutions, or simply sitting beside you in silence so you never feel alone. These gestures may seem small, but they carry enormous weight. They're proof that he's always thinking about your well-being, even when he doesn't say a word. Love for a Capricorn man is never about flashy declarations or dramatic passion that fizzles out after the honeymoon phase. It's about showing up every single day, no matter how ordinary or challenging life gets. It's about consistency. It's about effort. It's about being that one steady anchor when everything else feels uncertain. Imagine being with someone who doesn't just say he'll be there for you, but actually proves it time and time again. Someone who will stand next to you in moments of joy and walk beside you in moments of pain. Someone who makes sure that even in your weakest, most vulnerable moments, you never feel unsupported. That's what love from a Capricorn man feels like. To put it simply, it feels safe. It feels steady. It feels unwavering. And that kind of love, the kind that makes you feel protected and cared for in ways words can't describe, is one of the rarest gifts you can experience. With him, you'll never doubt if he's serious. You'll never wonder if he'll disappear when things get tough. Because for a Capricorn man, once he decides you're his protective nature ensures that he's in it for the long haul. Another side of him that people often misunderstand is his approach to romance. When it comes to matters of the heart, a Capricorn man operates on a completely different wavelength than most people. He is not impulsive and he does not fall in love overnight. He doesn't get swept up in whirlwind romances or let his emotions carry him away without thought. For him, love is not a game, not a temporary thrill, not something that can be rushed. Instead, love is serious. It is sacred. It is a commitment that he doesn't take lightly. That's why he approaches it carefully, methodically, almost like an architect planning the blueprint of a house he wants to last forever. He takes his time, sometimes longer than most people are comfortable with. He will study you quietly, observing your actions more than your words. He will notice how you treat others, how you handle stress, how you carry yourself in difficult situations. He watches the little details you may not even realize matter, how consistent you are, how honest you are, whether your values align with his. To him, these small observations are what determine whether or not you're someone he can trust his heart with. He's not impressed by superficial charm or empty promises. What he's looking for is depth, sincerity, and long-term potential. Now, for many people, this approach can feel frustratingly slow. If you're the kind of person who believes love should happen in an instant, like lightning striking or fireworks going off, you might think a Capricorn man is uninterested or even emotionally unavailable. But here's the beauty of it. Nothing could be further from the truth. His caution, his patience, his deliberate pace, these are actually signs that he takes you seriously. He's not playing games. He's not stringing you along. He's doing the opposite. He's making sure that when he finally gives you his heart, it's genuine, unwavering, and built to last. And when a Capricorn finally commits, he commits wholeheartedly. There's no turning back, no half-hearted effort, no testing the waters. He's not the kind of man who says yes today and maybe tomorrow. For him, it's all or nothing. Once you're in his heart, you're there for real, and he will put in the effort, time, and devotion needed to nurture that love. It's like the old saying, slow and steady wins the race. For a Capricorn, that phrase isn't just a cliche, it's a way of life, especially when it comes to relationships. He believes that love is not a sprint where you burn out quickly, but a marathon, a journey that requires patience, endurance, and dedication. When he builds a relationship, he builds it like he builds everything else in his life, with patience, precision, and intention. Think of how he approaches his career or his goals, step by step, brick by brick, creating a structure that will stand strong through storms and time. He applies that exact same philosophy to love. He doesn't want something flimsy or short-lived. He wants something real, grounded, and unshakable. This is why so many people who end up with Capricorn men describe their relationships as some of the most stable and dependable they've ever experienced. With him, you don't just get romance, you get consistency, loyalty, and a foundation strong enough to last decades. And here's the secret truth most people miss. That slow, steady approach that can feel frustrating at first is actually a blessing in disguise. Because when he finally opens up, when he finally says, "I love you," you can believe it with your whole heart. It's not fleeting, it's not uncertain. It's a love that has been thought through, tested, and proven. It's a love that you can lean on, trust in, and grow with for years to come. But here's where things get really interesting, and honestly quite surprising. Capricorn men, who are so often labeled as too serious, emotionally unavailable, or even workaholics, actually have a secret playful side that almost no one expects. Most people look at a Capricorn man and think, this guy probably only cares about work, money, and responsibilities. And yes, that's the side he shows to the outside world. He takes his duties seriously, he works hard, and he presents himself as strong, disciplined, and reliable. But what many don't realize is that this same man has a completely different side that only reveals itself in the most intimate spaces with the people he truly trusts. Yes, you heard that right. The man who spends his days focused on goals, deadlines, or serious conversations about the future can flip the switch in private. And when he does, it will absolutely surprise you. Capricorn has a dry, clever, and witty sense of humor, and once he feels safe enough with you, that humor comes out full force. He'll make sarcastic remarks that are funnier than you expect, tease you in a way that feels sweet rather than harsh, and find little ways to make you laugh when you least expect it. Suddenly, the man who seemed like the embodiment of self-control and seriousness turns into someone who can be goofy, silly, and playful just to see you smile. Don't be shocked if this serious man suddenly loves binge-watching cartoons with you on a lazy Sunday morning, quoting the funniest lines as if he's been secretly enjoying them all along. or if he starts pulling exaggerated silly faces just to get you to laugh when you're upset. Some Capricorn men even have these hidden quirky hobbies, like secretly enjoying video games, watching stand-up comedy, or jamming out to guilty pleasure songs in the car, that you'd never guess by just looking at their polished professional image. And perhaps the sweetest part, he doesn't care if it looks childish. With you, he doesn't have to perform or maintain his perfect image. He gets to just be himself. It's almost like he wears armor out in the world, a strong, protective, and disciplined shield that keeps him focused and safe from judgment. But behind closed doors, when he knows he's with someone who won't use his vulnerability against him, he lets that armor fall away. And when it does, you'll see a version of him that is refreshingly different. A Capricorn man in love will dance around the kitchen late at night, completely offbeat but smiling from ear to ear. He'll laugh at his own bad jokes just to make you laugh too. He'll come up with little inside jokes only the two of you share, making your bond even more unique and special. And this is the side that so few people in his life ever get to witness. His co-workers, his acquaintances, even some of his extended family may never see it, because he saves this light-hearted, carefree part of himself for the person who makes him feel safe enough to let go of control. That's when you realize that underneath all the seriousness, all the discipline, all the responsibility, is a heart that craves joy, laughter, and connection just like anyone else. In fact, because he spends so much of his life being the serious one, these moments of pure playfulness feel even more precious. Here's the funny part. Once you've seen this side of him, you can never look at him the same way again. You'll catch glimpses of that playful spark even when he's back in serious mode, and it'll remind you that no matter how much of a mountain he seems on the outside, there's always a soft, silly, childlike spirit hiding underneath. And that secret, it's one of the reasons why loving a Capricorn man feels so rare and so rewarding. Because once you've earned his trust and unlocked that hidden side, you know you're not just his partner. You're his safe place, his best friend, and the person who makes life feel lighter. Of course, one of the most defining and unforgettable qualities of a Capricorn man in love is his loyalty. But let's be clear, when we talk about loyalty here, it goes far beyond just the surface-level idea of being faithful or not cheating. For him, loyalty is a deep, unshakable commitment that runs through every part of the relationship. It's about showing up consistently, about being emotionally reliable, and about being someone you can lean on no matter what storms life throws your way. When times get tough, and let's be honest, every relationship faces its challenges, the Capricorn man does not run. He doesn't vanish into thin air the moment things get complicated. He doesn't use excuses or avoid hard conversations. Instead, he digs his heels in, plants himself firmly, and stays. He believes that love is not just about enjoying the sunshine together, but also about holding the umbrella during the storm. So, when problems arise, whether they're emotional struggles, financial worries, or life's unexpected curveballs, you'll see his true colors. He won't just stick around physically. He'll actively work through it with you, offering solutions, calming energy, and steady reassurance. This is one of the reasons why being loved by a Capricorn man can feel so rare and so deeply comforting. He has this calm presence that almost feels like a rock in the middle of chaos. Imagine being in the middle of a hurricane, everything spinning wildly out of control, but knowing you can hold on to something that doesn't move, doesn't break, and doesn't abandon you. That's what his love feels like. It gives you something solid to anchor yourself to, no matter what. Now, here's something important to understand. His love might not always be flashy. You won't always see fiery declarations of passion, dramatic gestures, or constant verbal reassurances. That's not his style. His love is not a fireworks show that bursts brightly and disappears. It's more like a steady flame that never goes out. It burns quietly, but it's dependable. It warms you, and it lights your path when things get dark. That kind of consistency is worth more than 1,000 grand gestures that fade over time. And honestly, if you've ever had someone in your life who stood by you no matter how messy things got, then you already know how rare and precious this quality is. In a world where so many people walk away at the first sign of difficulty, a Capricorn man is the one who digs in deeper. His loyalty is not conditional. It's not there only when things are easy. In fact, he often shines the brightest when things are the hardest. What makes this loyalty even more powerful is that it's not just about being there during the big struggles. It's also about the everyday consistency. He's the kind of man who remembers the little things, who notices when you're tired, who checks in on you after a long day, who makes sure you never feel like you're carrying the weight of the world alone. For him, love is about partnership, and in his mind, partners don't abandon each other. They hold each other up no matter what. This is why so many people who've experienced a Capricorn man's love describe it as life-changing. Once he commits, he doesn't waver, and once he decides that you are his person, he invests himself fully. His loyalty is not passive, it's active, intentional, and proven day after day. And that's why it feels so safe, so grounding, and so powerful. Because with him, you're not just loved, you're protected, you're supported, and you're cherished in a way that doesn't fade with time. This is the love a Capricorn man brings. A love that stands tall through storms, that doesn't crumble under pressure, and that remains one of the rarest treasures you could ever find in a partner. Now, let me share a quick fact with you. Astrology research often points to Capricorn men as some of the most financially and emotionally stable partners of the Zodiac. This isn't surprising when you consider their natural discipline, their sense of duty, and their long-term mindset. They think ahead, they plan for the future. They don't just want passion today, they want stability for years to come. In fact, many astrologers argue that if you're looking for someone who can truly build a life with you, Capricorn is one of the signs you can trust the most. And to add a little humor here, people often joke that dating a Capricorn is like dating both a boyfriend and a financial advisor rolled into one. He'll love you, support you, and remind you not to overspend your savings all at the same time. But hey, who's really going to complain about getting love and stability in one neat package? So why does all of this matter? Because when you look past the surface of a Capricorn man, you realize that he's not cold, he's not distant, and he's not unfeeling. He's simply cautious. He takes love seriously, and he doesn't let just anyone into his heart. But when he finally chooses to love, he does so with a level of depth, patience, and devotion that can completely change your life. His secret side isn't about grand gestures or flashy romance. It's about building a relationship that is grounded, safe, and enduring. And in a world full of temporary connections, that kind of love is priceless. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been with a Capricorn man, or do you know someone who has? Did you ever get to experience this softer, secret side of him? Or maybe you're a Capricorn man watching this right now. Do you recognize these traits in yourself? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments below. I absolutely love reading them, and I know other viewers do too, because it helps everyone understand this mysterious sign even better. And of course, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into the hidden sides of the Zodiac. Because here's the truth. The Capricorn man may look like a mountain on the outside, strong, tall, unshakable. But hidden within that mountain is a heart that beats with patience, loyalty, and a depth of love that endures. And once you discover it, you'll realize why this man, often underestimated in romance, is actually one of the Zodiac's greatest treasures when it comes to love.